people always bitch at other people not wearing masks. If yours works, why are you bitching at them? What does it matter? So there's a lot of weird things that make zero sense in this society.
Well, imagine like,
It's just like,
they're forcing you to wear a diaper because you have a 2% chance you'll shit your pants.
no, less than 1%, not 2%.
What about they make you wear a diaper so your neighbor doesn't shit his pants?
Exactly.
Stupid.
I agree.
Today in the studio, folks, if you like making money, I got a real treat for you. Peter Voogd, what's happening?
How you doing, man? Great to be here.
If you guys don't know who he is, you better check him out on social media. It's at Peter J. Voogd, which is V-O-O-G-D. D is silent. The D is not pronounced. Peter Voogd. I'm sure you have heard of him, but if you haven't, that's where you check him out. He's also peterjvoogd.com. He's got a book out, 7 Rules to 7 Figures. You already had one called 6 Rules.
6 months to 6
6
figures.
months to 6 figures. And you wrote that book to help other people like that are just out there, struggling, doing manual labor shit.
Yeah, want to transition. They don't have clarity. They're confused on what they want to do, or they just don't know they can actually become an entrepreneur, start a business.
Try to get that mic as close as you can get. There you go.
Got it.
I don't know what the say. Buy the top line shit, and then everyone's like, it's not close. You'd think this would be fine. It's a microphone.
I'll stay close.
Yeah, get up on it. So 6 months to 6 figures. If someone's out there right now listening to this and they're not making 6 figures, which by the way, folks, is at least $100,000 a year, what should they be thinking?
They should be thinking that they need to elevate who they're around. I think if you want to get to 6 figures, you got to start talking to people that are making 7 so they can cut their learning curve in half. When I was dead broke and frustrated, literally all my friends were broke. And they were like, you're 22. It's okay to be broke. And it wasn't, because I felt horrible. I had no choices. So I had to kind of elevate who I was around. And once I started getting around higher level people that were at the 500,000 mark, the million mark, I started seeing more clearly how to get to that 6-figure mark. I didn't know how to do it, but everyone around me already had it. So I kind of learned from them. So that's the first thing I'd tell them is you got to understand who you are and who you're not and get around the right people that are already at that level.
So how do you get around these people?
You make a target list. I made a list of my growth friends and a list of maintenance friends who were pulling me back. And I made a list of people who were doing things that I wanted to do. In my company at the time, there was some killers that were at the top of the game. And I kept reaching out. Hey, I'd love to take you to lunch. Can I have a quick conversation? I'm a young guy. I really want to crush in this industry. And it takes a lot of persistence. I was persistent.
You might have got lucky, bro, because that really don't work.
I mean, it worked for me. You just got to be people aren't persistent
How many
enough.
people ask you to go to lunch all the time?
Yeah, not a lot.
No?
I mean, they do, but I can't do it.
That's my point. That don't work. Dude, I get hit up all the time,
I think it's
dude.
different now. It
Can
worked.
I buy you a lunch? I'm like,
I hate
I
that
can
too.
afford my own lunch, dude. And not
Sure.
9 times out of 10, I ain't even taking lunch. So now what do you want? They're like, hey, I just need an hour to pick your brain. I'm thinking.
I think
Fuck,
for
dude.
me, I was such in a bad place because I just dropped out of college. I dropped out of business school because I wasn't learning anything about business, which is ironic. My professors never ran businesses. So I dropped out and I let my parents down, my family down, everyone down. And I'm going up there to try to do a sales business and I'm struggling. So I'm like, I have to figure this out. So I was almost at a point where I had to become so resourceful based on the emotions that drove me. I found a way to reach out to people. I was reaching out to people every day. Let me connect with you. Do you have 5 minutes to be on a phone call? And
Who were
because
these
they
people?
felt my passion.
Were they in your business?
Some of them were. Jordan Weirs was one of them, who's a multimillionaire. Did some real estate in Vegas a while back.
But somehow you broke in and eventually got him to give you some
It really
attention.
was my passion. I wrote him 6 or 7 times on Facebook, and I said, hey, you're going to be driving home. He had an orange Lamborghini. I go, you're going to be driving home. Here's my number. Can you please, I'll pay you for your time. Can you please just shoot me a call? Shot me a call, and I just sold myself in a way. And he was like, I'll be able to help you a little bit. I'll give you some guidance.
But the key there is you're willing to pay them for their time.
100%. I realized I had the big people that value their time. Here's what's weird, Brad, is most people, the first thing they ask for successful people is their time. And I've realized as I grow older, the number one thing people value when they're successful is their time. So it's almost the dumbest thing to ask for when you're brand new.
That's what I was saying.
Exactly. So that was dumb of me at the point, but I didn't know. Now I'm realizing when someone's like, hey, can I steal 20 minutes? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to build my business. I got a mission. I have kids. I can't do that. Now I realize. So looking back, I didn't know that.
Right. But so people listening, I wouldn't say, go hit up all your people saying, can I buy you lunch? Because that don't really work anymore. If I were you, I would say what Hugh said is, hey, how do I buy an hour of your time? Because, again, I don't sell my time that way. But one time I said $5,000, dude.
Yeah,
fucking wired over $5,000. I'm like, dude, I got on an hour Zoom call. We ended up doing business. We've made.
But doesn't it show you he's the real deal? He's willing to pay.
It shows me that he's not, let's say, not immature, but naive, young, inexperienced. In other words, it shows me that, like, he's willing to put his money where his mouth is.
For sure.
Like, why you want to talk to me for an hour? Well, I just want to pick your brain. You, but hey, I'm willing to pay for your time. I have some things I want to run by you, get your opinion. I respect your opinion. Then you start thinking, this is a real dude. Like, even if he's not a real dude. Like,
but if it almost seemed like he might have been a chess player where he was trying to do business with you.
And he did.
Which was smart.
It was smart.
So it was worth
a good investment. But that's what I'm trying to tell people, folks. Like, put your money where your mouth is. If you value this person's opinion so damn much, then pay for it. Or be willing to, because I've also gotten on calls where I'm like, there's no charge. But the fact that they were willing to pay was like, I think that works better than can I buy you lunch? Because nobody gives a about your lunch money.
But I also think adding value first too, or at least trying to show them they took an action. But they can all buy books. If someone has a book out, I used to buy, hey, I already bought 20 of your books. My audience is not as big as yours. My mission's not as big. We're aligned with our message, but I bought 20 books. I gave it out to the most successful people I knew, and I reviewed your book on Amazon as well as shared your book. Then they're like, oh my God, this guy's somewhat of the real deal because he took some action. But most people don't even do that.
Yeah, but did you know to do that because you had a book and that's valuable to people with a book?
I did after that, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
Some type of action you take before you reach out.
Yeah, well, these are good points because, again, people hit me up and they're talking about how do I add value? And I'm like, first thing you do is don't ask me how to add value. Because when someone says, hey, how do I add value? I'm asking something from you right now to tell me. Like, dude, how do I add value to you?
Yeah.
Well, that's me asking you for something.
Sure.
What you want to do is give something.
I've already done it.
Yeah. So I always tell people when they ask me that, it's like the first thing you can do is figure out how to add value without asking me. Like, show up, do what you just said. Anything. Like, you use your imagination, you can figure out what people value. They value time, they value money. Make them some money. Dude, if someone's listening to this, you want my attention, figure out how to make me some money, dude. I'll be like, who is this mother? I want to talk to them. But dude, so how long ago was this for you?
2000. So dead broke, got into direct sales 2008 and 9. And then something shifted.
But you had to be successful at sales.
Yeah, I was getting successful sales, but the crazy thing is I did sales for 8 months to a year and liked it, but when I took someone field training with me, I did well at sales. I broke the first 10-day record for the sales of my region. And then once I started selling more, I took someone with me, field training they call it. And he went with me and he said, oh my gosh, those two things you said, I've been doing it wrong. He went and sold a huge sale 2 days later. And he goes, you changed my life, dude. I was going to quit. I said, whoa, this is a weird feeling. I love doing sales, but motivating and inspiring and helping him do sales and see that I helped him not quit and change his life and he made money and all these things, I like doing this too. So I started leaning more towards, I'm always going to hustle and be in the grind because I love what I do and I love being in the trenches and working, but I liked motivating and inspiring too. So that's when I wanted to run my own sales office up in Seattle and did that. And I feel like that was something that really helped me as well. So I did both. I sold first, then I was selling with my team and then teaching them how to do it.
And when did you decide to write a book?
So 2009 and 10 is when I went from broke to six figures. 3 years went by, continued just to work, build up my sales team, continue to do millions in sales in that industry. And then I started having this nag and pull and seeing people. We created a lot of six-figure earners in sales. A lot of young people, 19, 20-year-olds, I was helping them make six figures just like I did in sales. So 2013 came along, and I said, damn, I see a lot of people struggling. I don't know if I hacked the system or I was obsessed with personal growth. I hired mentors. I spent so much money on different courses and invested in myself and went through a lot of trials, tribulations, failures. So I started like thinking, I need to get this message out there. I didn't realize at the time, Brad, it was 6 months to 6 figures. I didn't realize it was 6 steps. I had no clue. I just did it kind of from raw, just hustle. Looking back, I'm like, there's 6 things that I did to get the 6 figures. And then it was going to be 6 months to 12, 6 figures in 12 months. And we looked at the reports of when I did 6 figures in that company, and it was in 5 months net. So that's when I was like, I want to do something. I want to write a book. I never wrote a book. I wasn't good at writing in school. I still don't like writing. That was hell to write that. I wasn't even the same person. It was frustrating, but I had to get it out. So I had to get it out. I felt this need to get the book out. Hired some people, had some friends help me. Y.E.L is a good friend of mine, and he wrote the book, The Miracle Morning. He kind of helped me structure it. So it took me 8-9 months of, once again, excruciating pain. I didn't know how to write. I just kind of got it all out there, and I was losing sleep, man, because I wanted to get my message out there. It was really pissing me off that I couldn't get my message out there. When I was sleeping, no one could be impacted by my stuff. So, and I knew people needed it. So wrote the book. I think it's going to sell 1,000 copies. My goal is like 1,000 copies. I think it's at almost 800,000 now. So I couldn't even imagine
Dang.
what happened. I've gotten booked $20,000-$30,000 speeches when I didn't even know what was going on because of that book.
No shit.
It's crazy, man. So
Dude, it took me forever to write my book. It just came out. There's like 3,000 sold. I thought that was pretty good, but 800,000, dude. That's
but mine's been out 6, 7 years.
Yeah, but dude, that's a lot of books, dude.
It's crazy, man.
And you got to imagine, half the people at the bottom are probably, they just read the book, they never do anything with it, and you probably impacted a ton of people.
The emails and the messages I get, like, gives me chills. The emails and messages I get are what I love. You know what I mean? Hey, there was people that were going to commit suicide. There's people that almost lost their family, divorces, businesses. So I was like, it's an amazing feeling. And
what were you teaching them? What were the 6 steps?
Absolute clarity. So how to gain crystal clear clarity on what to do, because when I was broke, I had no clarity. All I know is I didn't want to be broke anymore. How to get clarity, what questions to ask.
In a presentation?
Yeah, in everything. How to create clarity. Ask yourself to figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And then circle of influence, how to elevate your circle of influence, how to create bulletproof confidence. Everyone has what's called a confidence account. So teaching them how to create more confidence in themselves and really have that bulletproof mentality is huge. Because if you have the best network and you have clarity but no confidence, you're going to always find a way to lose. So confidence is huge. And then creating result rituals was big for me, is understanding that, I don't know if you've noticed this in business, when I connect with someone or watch their business or learn from them, or some people that are newer, they're doing everything in their business except what creates results. It's amazing. They don't do anything that creates results. They're not making sales calls. They're not actually doing things that get them results. They're doing everything else. So I wanted to teach people how to create rituals and result rituals and growth rituals to solidify and guarantee success in their business. And then health is a huge one, to where if you don't have energy, you have all the money in the world and all the flexibility and freedom, but no energy, you're not going to get up and do what you need to do. So teaching them energy and how to actually gain maximum energy for what you do is a huge one. And then focusing on continued and consistent success as well. So consistency, momentum, things like that. It's been a while, man. I almost forgot some of those.
Well, when you talk about, energy, that's a nice way of saying, get in shape. But to be honest, like, when you get physically in better shape, dude, the world is nicer to you.
Yeah. I didn't let any of my team eat fast food. I let none of my team, I just didn't let excuses happen. We were all just on a health kick too. And when I taught my team kind of what I did, and I said, we're not eating unhealthy. If you're serious, you're not going to bring in fast food to this office. It's just like, I was young, a little naive, but these kids really bought into it. They loved it.
Yeah, you created a culture.
We had a culture of just excellence. We couldn't even get people to quit if they wanted to. And it was selling knives. What? Right? But they were focused on the freedom they could have, the money they're making. All their friends worked at Taco Bell, worked at the mall. They wanted something different. And I would just use society against them, because if you look at society, it's a show. You know what I mean? No one's free. I talk about in my new book, I think it's the average person spends 91,000 hours working in their whole life. Whatever they do for a career, 91,000 hours, most of their life. And 76% hate what they do and have no passion, and they're disengaged. So they cut corners.
Where are you getting 91,000 hours
I think it was on Forbes. It's quoted in the book, 91,000. It was on some website that I fact checked. 91,000 hours. You could probably look it up.
Siri, what is 91,000 divided by 24?
It's about 3,791.6666.
What is 3,791 divided by 365?
It's about 10.3863.
10 years. Can you believe that?
It's almost more, probably.
You know that they say that mastery comes with 10,000 hours of practice?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, like, they don't understand why they're not the top of their game. And I always say, well, how long you been doing it? And they're like, 2 years. Yeah. It's like, dude, mastery takes 10,000 hours. Yep. It's a lot of time. So you taught them basically how to collapse time and get there quicker.
For sure. Because I did it. I helped other people do it. Now, I wasn't going to teach it because I know there's a stigma in the industry where a lot of people just teach. I did not want to be just teaching. I wanted to be doing it. I want to do it myself. One of the reasons, what's funny is Gary Vee actually helped me distinguish a long time ago what market I should go after, and it was millennials, because I was a millennial crushing it, and I led a team of millennials as well. So that's why I was like, I want to go after millennials because I really can understand. We were in a rougher area too, so I was dealing with some pretty rough kids. But when you get them motivated and you get them on purpose, which is scary, and you get them on purpose and off themselves, like, they will ride or die for you. If they know you have their best interests in mind, they'll ride or die for you. And that's what they were doing. So that's how we did. We broke almost every record in that company. I was doing millions at 23, 24 because I understood development of people and just hitting their hot buttons in a way. But what I was saying, you just said 10,000 hours. I was thinking about how long I was in school for. I was in school like 15, 20,000 hours in my life. And I came out of school broke, knowing nothing. That actually pisses me off when I think about it, because I could have mastered 2 different things. Said I knew nothing. I knew Pythagorean theorems from geometry. So yeah, it's an interesting topic, the mastery thing, because a lot of kids could master from age 10 to 20 instead of going to school. I don't know how you feel in school, but the stuff they teach is just frustrating. You know what I mean? I've learned nothing about taxes, nothing about wealth, nothing about confidence.
The reason they teach you calculus and algebra like that, so you don't get caught in calculus season and, die.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't teach anything that has to do with the real world. I dropped out of school in 11th grade, 16 years old.
I almost wish I would have done that.
Yeah, I started just working and hustling and, learning the hard way. And,
Let me ask you this. Did you ever have a stigma where you kind of, at the beginning, didn't tell anybody because you felt bad?
I did.
You felt judged? See, for me, I dropped out of college.
Nobody asked because, in my town, everyone knew. And no one thought I was going anywhere.
Wow.
Well, what I found, sales as well. So I started selling. Pretty soon I'm making more than everybody.
Yep, me too.
Anybody.
Same thing happened.
But then, he's a dropout. We're going to college. And now a lot of those guys either work for me or work for a company. They're not. For sure. They're not entrepreneurs.
I've seen it.
I think it's mainly, something inside people that just makes them realize, like when I think of working for someone else, I think, well, if I'm going to put all that work in for them, why wouldn't I put it in for me?
Sure.
Like, why am I going to come make you rich?
Sure.
Now, if I don't know how and I need to come study, I'll come work for somebody. But as soon as I'm ready, dude, I'm starting my own business.
For sure.
I think everyone should have their own business.
Even if least try.
Even if they don't work it.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, just tax implications alone, operating as an entity, you should start a business and see if your company will pay your business instead of you. And then you take that money, you pay all the bills, and then pay taxes on what's left, rather than you pay taxes on what you make and then pay bills with what's left. It's a big difference. So all you have to do is start an LLC and create a company. You don't even have to operate much in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But a lot of people don't know this stuff, dude,
No.
especially coming out of college, youngsters.
Yep.
But when you say millennials now, dude, you're all old too.
No, it's Gen Z now.
Yeah, now it's Gen Z. It's even before that.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one before that? I think it's called Alpha or something.
I have no idea.
Gen Alpha.
Now there's the youngins, yeah. Feel old.
Youngins, dude. Because I got 36-year-old kid all the way down to a 6-year-old, all the way down to one's coming in December.
Wow.
So I've had like 3 different sets of kids, and the 36-year-old. What are they? Millennials.
Yeah.
So I got millennials. What's below them?
Z.
I got Z's,
And I don't know what's next.
and I think they're called alphas.
That's hilarious.
And I'm a Gen X.
But so when you said you got to have something different inside you, There were so many instances, Brad, growing up where I was like, God, this person hates their freaking life. This person bitches about their boss every day. I saw that my whole life. People were like, I'm like, why are you working there? I'm like 14, 15. I'm like, I started an eBay business. And I'm like, I'm gonna do entrepreneurship. Screw everyone else. Why would I work a normal job? And I probably heard it 1,000 times from my mom, from friends. You have to get a normal job. It's just what you do. You have to work your way up. And it's just, I know people go through that now. So that's why I want to tell them you don't have to. I was making more when I was 16 than some people were making in jobs, right? So I had so many reasons when I became an entrepreneur to like make it work, because I had all these things in my head remembering of people that hated what they do. They're pissed off. They have to ask their boss when they can see their kids. I just didn't want that life.
The new book, 7 Rules to 7 Figures. What's the difference?
The biggest difference is I tried to hit 7 figures for years, couldn't do it. And I realized that you can't really get to 7 figures doing more of what got you 6. It's really hard, or if possible. It's not the chicken with your head cut off, hustle all day and night. You got to be more strategic, build a foundation, understand the purpose of real business, create raving fans, build a structure. So this is more how to go from 6 to 7, but also how to do it in a way that allows you to have some freedom and be able to travel and be with your family, but also build a successful, thriving business in the new economy. Whether it's e-commerce, I kind of teach people how to figure out what business they should get into based on their strengths. So it's just, it's a different mentality. It's higher level thinking. I didn't even know how to get to 7 figures when I wrote 6 months to 6 figures at the beginning, so I couldn't even write about it. But there was a time right before my son was born that I turned down 3 or 4 speeches because I said I'm not doing speeches during my son's birth. And the fact that I got booked is hilarious 3 or 4 times. So I turned down 40 or 50K that 2 weeks. And I realized at that time, that was 2 years ago, I almost felt like I hacked the system because I was living an amazing life. We just had a record-breaking month. We were crushing it in business. I had freedom. And I just turned down 40, 50K. I would have killed for 2K a speech. I would have done free speeches back in the day. So now I felt like I had a little bit of leverage. And I just see a lot of people that I know working 200-hour weeks, and they're making 80K.
You think the book is why?
Why what?
You got those speeches?
My other book?
Like, do you think if someone's listening, they should write a book?
I think everyone has a message in them, but I
they,
feel like they got to get results first.
You think your book has helped you?
For sure. The first book helped me.
So you would recommend people write a book?
Yeah, I would recommend doing something worth writing a book about. Not in a cocky
First. Yeah.
Not in a cocky way, but a lot of people just write books and that's it, and they haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
true.
And I've read those books, and you could tell they don't have the grit. They don't have like that hustle. When we read your book, we're going to be like, oh, this guy's a hustler. He's been in the trenches versus you just teaching. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why I wrote that one after I did the result, got the results, and felt like I kind of hacked the system in a way. I was so obsessed with learning from other people, learning from Robert Kiyosaki, Patrick Bet-David, and just studying these people when I was younger, that I realized I could create a similar business and do what they do at a different type of level based on my strengths. So that's where that came from. The 7 rules is just what I feel like people need to create a world-class life, man, a life that they're proud of. Because I feel like if you do work 1,000 hours a week and you have 0 freedom, I don't think you did it right.
Yep. Dude, I always tell people, you could start a business and do that, and you basically created a cage. You built a job, and you're stuck to it because if you're not there, it crashes.
For sure.
And that's not freedom. Systems and processes are the key there. What do you think?
100%. At least, I mean, I feel like as entrepreneurs, as CEOs, you need to focus on growth activities and systems that produce growth versus maintaining. Everything we have in our business that maintains is automated, systemized, delegated out. Everything that's growth focused, me and my team focus on the vision type stuff. So I just feel like too many people are not duplicating themselves. I feel like they're not hiring the right people, and I feel like they want to do everything themselves.
But does that book help that?
100%. Like I teach people not to have the figure it out myself mentality, which was cool back in the day, 30 years ago. But I think that one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever had was I kept banging my head against the wall trying to figure this stuff out. Entrepreneurship, sales, how do I create a fan base? And I just was beating myself up. And when you do that, you almost start resenting things you're good at because you're working so much. So then I realized, oh my gosh, I need to tap into my network. So I started building a network. Now, every single business problem I've ever had the last 3 years, I just connect with my network. And I say, hey, what would you do in this situation? I need tax help. I need this help. Oh yeah, here you go. Here's the guy. And I would just connect with them. And it saved my life. That's why I have more peace of mind. because I don't sit there and figure everything out. I just connect with my network. And I've been fortunate to build a network, but I talk to people exactly how to build a network. I give them the script I use to reach out to people. So it's like I kind of
from scratch.
From scratch, I gave them everything in that book.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you this one just came out?
Comes out the 19th. So it might, I don't know when this is releasing, but it comes out October 19th. So it might already be out. And I'm excited. I think it's
That's only a few days from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the book's out, folks. Where do they get it?
7rulesbook.com.
7rulesbook.com. And so let me ask you now, the freedom part is what I want to drill in on, because there's people out there busting their ass, laboring, I call it, and they're afraid to quit their job because what if all your doesn't work? What if this book doesn't work? What do you say to those guys?
There's an escape plan in there. So I think you have to do a couple things. You have to do your due diligence and create some certainty in your next venture. Because that's what you just said is almost everybody. It's because they value security over freedom. If you value security over freedom, you'll never have freedom. Period. I value freedom over security because I'd rather figure it out. So what I tell them is you have to start creating certainty in your next move. How do you do that? You get around people that have already quit their jobs, already are working as entrepreneurs. You start doing your due diligence on how to make it happen. You figure out a date. One of the things I did with 6 months to 6 figures, I told people to pick a date. Pick what your date is. If you're at a job right now, February 1st, you will be done. Pick a date. Once you pick a date, it becomes real. And if you follow the steps in there on how to quit your job, how to figure out what your next move is, how to get around the right people, you almost can't fail unless you give up or quit. So I would tell those people that figure out why they're thinking and they're focusing on not making it work versus making it work. Because there's blueprints, there's proof everywhere. I think, what was the stat? 43 million people quit their job last month. 43 million people quit their job last month.
So they don't get the jab?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. So they're trying to become entrepreneurs. So I feel like this book is needed at the highest level because when I quit direct sales and I wanted to be full-time entrepreneur, I didn't know what to do. I had no clarity. It took me 8 months of just being obsessed with how do I figure out what to do next. And I reached out to 30, 40 different people. I took a bunch of courses. I read books. I asked my mentors. And I simplified that process into like a 6-step simple process for people to. I threw that in there because I knew people would need that.
What business did you start?
When I had my book, I started the Game Changers Academy, and I started like a personal growth company where I help people network with others.
Like a training deal.
Yeah, training.
What about real estate? You mentioned real estate.
Yeah, I've been in real estate since 2009 or 10. My mom's been a realtor her whole life. So I bought my first property at 24.
Single family?
Yeah. Up in Seattle.
You don't have any apartments?
Everyone's trying to give me that. We have 4 or 5 fourplexes, but apartments, there was a 10plex, 10 that I was supposed to take a look at like a week ago, but I haven't done anything with it yet. So we have quite a bit of multifamily and do decent passively, but I do want to get into apartments because you're probably the 10th person that's told me that.
Just because it's rare that the whole place is empty. A single family house, it's empty.
For sure.
You know, you go. Let's say you got 60 houses and they all for some reason aren't paying their rent. You're f***ed. But you own a building. It's highly unlikely that all the people are not going to pay their rent, and usually the ones that do cover the mortgage, so you're a little safer.
Yeah, I'll look into that the next couple of years because I do want to get into that as well. But I've been in it for 10 years and I love it. Just my parents were in it, so.
So this academy that you have, I assume, a bunch of courses on what? Mindset, what? Sales?
Yeah, the academy is more focused on networking. So the academy is you come in here, you're going to be around some absolute killers, game changers. Almost, I'd say 98% of the people in our platinum level are already at 6 figures. So they're just a bunch of amazing people. So a lot of the money people make from the academy is through partnerships, collaborations, connections. We do networking calls, we do networking events. We teach them. I teach them the steps on how to position themselves in the industry to be the leading authority in a way where people come to them versus them chasing people. So the focus is helping them build a business on their terms, but I think it's kind of turned into networking because people don't know the right people. They don't have enough network. They don't have an amazing network around them. They're doing everything themselves. They're hanging out with knuckleheads they knew in high school, and they're wanting to get to $1 million, and all their friends make $70K. So I just like, what I did at my direct sales company, Brad, is I made it exclusive. We didn't hire everybody. They're supposed to just recruit everyone, hire everybody. I did the exact opposite. We had to really drill them and qualify them. So with the academy, every person that's ever been on our platinum or elite level, they've been qualified, and we've had to talk to them on the phone, and they have to get through us to make sure they're the real deal. So that's what makes it different. Is there's amazing entrepreneurs in there, you know what I mean, that have been a part of it.
Sounds like there's accountability as well.
100%. We don't let people slide, and our return we have no cancellations.
Dude,
Zero
what is your last name from?
Dutch.
Voogd.
People think it's German.
You could say something like, you know,
give me a tagline.
It's just Voogd. I'll give you the D, or you know, something funny.
I'm married now, but
oh yeah, too late.
10 years ago. Oh, that's funny.
So listen, I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to me, that know who you are, have been following you, maybe even read your book. They might even be in your group. For those that don't, though, if somebody's sitting here going, okay, so you're telling me I get your books 6 figures in 6 months and follow those rules, I'll elevate my game. Then I graduate to 7 rules for 7 figures, follow the game. I'm going to go to 7 figures.
I mean, they got to put in the work. Nothing works unless they do.
Yeah.
I can't want it for them more than they want success, but the people that are serious, that have their back against the wall, that are ready to execute, I'm 1,000% certain that's the roadmap to get there the right way in the new economy. I've been obsessed with what's working now and what's going to work, not what worked 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, I know sales, influence, and persuasion
Huge
is a skill set everybody needs,
yep,
no matter what. And I tell people 300,000 to 500,000. You know, if you're not making at least 300,000 to 500,000 a year, you're really not living.
I agree.
You're surviving, but like you start to live a little bit different at that leveling up.
You said it, $20K a month. You got to be making at least $20K.
At least 20K.
I agree.
So I always tell people, if you don't know how to make 20K, see me. And then when they DM me, I want to make 20K. I say, learn sales. They're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, then quit talking.
They want to know until it comes to the work.
Yeah, they raise their hand until they figure out, oh, you mean I got to read a book? You mean I got to take courses? You mean I got to study? You mean I got to practice? You mean I got to be uncomfortable? You mean I got to actually do something? You know, yeah, you always have to do something.
What do you think? Think about this. I wanted to talk to you about this. One thing I've been focused on and obsessed with is how, like 6 years ago, how these 17, 18, 19-year-olds were making millions of dollars. And it's still happening. And we have now 40, 50, 60-year-olds that are broke. And someone says to me, yeah, but I have 20 years of experience. I shouldn't be broke. But they have 1 year, I feel like, repeated 20 times because they're doing the same thing. They're not learning scale skills. They're not learning persuasion. They're not investing in themselves. So I feel like age has become irrelevant. In 2021, 2022 and beyond, age doesn't matter anymore.
It's never mattered.
But 10, 20 years ago, if you're 19, it's going to be hard to make $1 million. You can do it, but it's going to be hard because there's not as much entrepreneurship opportunity.
Okay, I'll give it to you, except for we have to say before the internet.
Yeah.
Because as soon as
20 years.
The internet, dude, changed everything.
Exactly. But now it's easier than ever. So that's why it's
but like there's a 18-year-old kid, there's a 14-year-old kid listening right now that could literally make 8 figures.
I know.
Just mastering marketing, let alone sales.
For sure.
I say there's 4 skill sets people need: sales, marketing, personal branding, and social media.
1,000%.
Like if you can leverage those 4 things, you can be the biggest landscaper, you can be the biggest chiropractor, you can be the biggest flake. In other words, like you literally could open up a laptop, make money to live and surf and be a bum. Go be a bum for 3 months, get a little bit low, open up your laptop. Because, dude, someone will hire you.
I seen it.
Someone will hire you if you can generate leads, if you know how to market. Someone will hire you if you can close deals that from their leads better than the people they can. So if you're a master at sales, you can make 7, 8 figures all day long.
100%.
If you're a master at marketing, you can make 7, 8 figures all day long. Personal branding can make you 7, 8 figures all day long. And then leveraging social media, you could. It's just not as easy. But when you blend those 4, dude, I call those the kill sets.
100%. That's amazing.
You're deadly.
I hope you guys are conceptualizing this that are watching. It's like you're getting free knowledge. You're dropping bombs.
That's right.
But I agree.
You ain't lying.
I just got a message from my business manager that someone wants to pay me $20,000 to do 1 post on Instagram.
Yeah, that's good.
Just stuff like that doesn't happen. Personal branding.
Well, dude, I got tons of those stories. Like I opened up 6 businesses that'll probably do 20 million and they're all from my personal brand. Someone followed me, likes how I am, likes how I'm real, called me up. They already have a business. It's already successful. They just wanted my coaching and help, and they gave me a piece of their business. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it.
You've built that though.
I know, but like that, a personal brand did that.
Yeah.
That's it. I got a piece of a business for a little bit of coaching and advising, promoting for nothing.
Yep.
Like, how do you do that? Well,
Yeah.
dude, they followed me on social media. They listened to me. They bought my personal brand.
That's how people chase you versus you chasing people.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's like, $20 million from a personal brand. And it's only taken me, I would say, it's taken me my whole life ultimately, but I got serious I haven't even gotten serious yet. I'm about to. But I started working on it about 4 years ago. So it's not an overnight thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, dude, it's like, it seems like it's forever slow. And then I started talking about COVID and I got suppressed big time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the podcast helps. Like if someone's listening to this and they got charisma and they're smart and they're cool, because again, if you're a goofball, getting attention ain't going to help you. Yeah. Now everyone's going to think you're a goofball. Like fix yourself first. Get that confidence, get that self-worth, get that skill set. Become good at something. Do something worth, acknowledgement. Then go get the attention. Because a lot of people say, well, I need the attention because, that's how you make all the money. True. Attention does give you money, but only if you're prepared for it. Because like one time I sent out an email blast to just my customer base, and I said, hey, last year I didn't talk to you much. This year I want to freaking talk to you and figure out how to make a bunch of money. And I wasn't thinking, but what happens if everybody replies? So I woke up and I had like 400 emails saying, yeah, how's Tuesday at 3? How's, and then I gave it to my assistant, like, hey, schedule these. And she's like, dude, this would take you 2 years, 80 hours a week. And I'm like, I can't meet with them all. She's like, not even close. So now I started getting people pissed off. See, I didn't think. Those are systems, by the way.
Yep, think ahead.
But you learn like that as you go. At the end of the day, man,
No, listen, what you said, that every single system I have was because something pissed me off or something like that happened. So all my systems come from mistakes. So it's funny you said that.
Yeah. My book's called The Hard Way. Lessons I learned the hard way so you don't have to.
Love it.
And by the way, my book, you can get to 7 figures and without 7 rules. But there's probably, I'll bet you if I read your rules, it's in my book. It's in most people's book. They're just saying it different.
Yep.
Because, dude,
there's a blueprint.
And not only that, it's like, dude, ask anybody. Like, I get to hang around a lot of these big name people. Well, we're drinking, eating, whatever. I'll ask them questions. They'll give me the answer. Well, that was the same answer I got from this person 3 months ago. They don't even know each other. It's all the same shit. It works, but people have to believe it. So what I like is the diversity of people saying it. Because, dude, like you and me could get on a stage. I'll say the exact same shit you do and vice versa. And then you ask the crowd, who's full of shit? The people that resonate with you or like hearing it from you, you're younger, whatever the case is, they'll be like, oh, yeah, this guy's great. That old dude was loudmouth. And we're saying the same thing. It's who you're listening to. And are you listening? Because a lot of people, dude, they're not listening. I've literally talked to people and told them exactly how to do something. 6 months later, I'm like, so how did it work out? Well, it didn't work out so well. I'm like, what happened? Well, I did this, and then I did that. And I'm like, well, I told you to do this. And they're like, yeah, I know, but my brother came to town and convinced me that, whatever.
And that was too hard.
Yeah, and I'm like, is your brother a millionaire? No. Well, then why would you listen to your brother?
He works at Home Depot.
Yeah, why would you listen to your brother? Now,
I've seen it.
There's always people out there with excuses. And I say, we're all millionaires. The question is, do you have millions of dollars or millions of excuses? Because you can't have both.
I like it, yep. Excuses or results, you can't have both.
You got to go to work.
I had a ton of excuses back when I was broke.
You know why they call it work? Because it works.
Yeah, I agree.
Most people don't know that.
Once I started working and hustling, everything fell into place. Yeah, man, I love. And another reason why your stuff does take off now is just because the content's real. I think there's too much sugarcoating. I won't say names, but a lot of people in the industry are just sugarcoating. They're like, you can do it. Believe in yourself. It's like, really? Thank you for that. It's like, there's no tactics. So I like
you
the
got to
people,
have the tactics.
Exactly. I like the people that share tactics and make people think and are polarizing.
Yeah, like you give me 10 grand and I go, dude, you got to have balls. You got to just jump, man. Fucking how?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
They need that, but they also need the tactics.
They need the how.
Yeah.
They don't need fucking encouragement. I don't think. A lot of the people I see, they don't need encouragement, dude. They don't know fucking how.
Well, they don't need to. I don't want them to go to me for that.
Well, I want them. I
They
want
need
them. I want them
friends.
to understand one thing, and then I can help them. They got to do it. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like people DM me all the time, dude. Oh, you changed my life. Like how? Oh, I've been following you for 2 years, dude. You've exploded my business. You've changed my life. When it boils down to it, I didn't do a fucking thing, dude. You changed your life. You just you just took what I said to do it, but you did it.
Yep.
And then on the opposite, look at all the people not succeeding. They want to blame this person, but they don't want to blame themselves, and that's who's to blame.
100%. That's the hard part. Blaming
Personal
yourself.
responsibility, dude. If you guys ain't making 6 figures,
I say that.
I think you should be like, again, in certain cases, like, hey, I'm studying and I'm fine and I got bigger ambitions later. So, I mean, I'm not talking about just money, but if you can't figure out how to make 6 figures, you got to look in the mirror and realize you're missing something, bro, because it's not hard.
100%.
So what are you missing? Why aren't you doing it?
And people need to realize that when the economy's down, the money doesn't disappear. They're like, oh, there's no money. It's a recession. No, there's more money than ever because the money just transfers hands. It's going to Brad, right? So all the money
Or
doesn't
Bezos.
disappear. Yeah, exactly. Bezos, Elon, it's going to all them, but the money's still here. So people I had a small mind from my small town where when there was a recession in 2008, I thought there was no money to be made. And then someone told me that was higher level, said, hey, you got to realize there's money. It's just transferring hands now. I'm like,
Told you
shit.
that.
Someone that I met at a mastermind, one of my first masterminds. I was broke and stressed, and my small town's like, there's a recession. I got to save all my money. Oh my God, there's no money. And my family, there's no money. And then someone's like, no, there's a ton of money. I'm like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, the money doesn't just disappear. And I'll never forget that. I still remember it now. Now there was a recession. I've seen more money than I've ever seen, and people are making a killing with who I know. People I talked to someone that was making $65 million a month.
That's a pretty penny.
You might know his name.
Who?
Ryan Blair.
I've heard of him. 65 million a month.
He was making that. Now he's still crushing it, but that's what he was making a couple of years ago.
Was that with Vima or no?
Visalis.
Yeah, Visalis.
I don't know if I should say that. Yeah, I don't know but yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to out, but
Dude, people can guess.
He's a good friend of mine.
And just because you said it doesn't make it true, right?
But yeah, for sure.
Leave
But
it up to
I
their
mean,
imagination.
he's not, I've known him for 5-6 years, and he's a great guy. He's taught me a lot about business. But making $65 million a month.
Who were his partners in that? There was 3 of them, weren't there?
Yeah, Nick,
Ryan, and what's the other one?
dang, I can't remember. One other person that was behind the scenes as much. Did you know? You might know them, huh?
Blake?
Yeah, Blake Mallon.
Yeah.
That's who it was. Good call.
Yeah, so I know Blake. I don't know Ryan.
I like Blake. He's a great guy. I spoke with him, and we spoke at the same event in Cabo San Lucas, or Puerto Vallarta. Great guy.
So how long did it take you to write your book?
That one, 1.5, 2 years.
And
That one was on and off, and that one. So I told myself, Brad, I'm not writing another book. I'm never gonna write a book again. I'm just being real. It's just, oh man, it's tough. It takes a lot of energy.
Trust me, I just did it.
I
I thought I'd have it out like that.
I know.
I put it up for pre-order, and it's been almost 2 years. People starting to go, what the dude? And I'm like, it was a pre-order, bro. Relax. I didn't say when you'd get it. And it was just because like I just kept putting it off. Then I'm like, I got to make it good. And then everyone's like, dude, just give me 15 grand. I'll ghost write it. And then you can, I go, no.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, I'd be lambasted for not writing a book saying I
For
wrote
sure.
it.
So it took 6 months to 6 figures took me 8 months to write. That one's almost 2 years.
But why wouldn't you write another one? You ain't trying to get to 8?
Everyone, eight rules of something. It just took so much energy and focus. I wasn't even the same person because I wanted it to be just right. I wanted to get the right information. I wanted to get my stories out right. So, I mean, who knows? But I don't think it's going to happen again. That might be my last book, but who knows? You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, you know how it is. I was losing sleep because I knew, I just saw too many people struggling, man. I saw people that had all the right ambition. They had the right goals, the right reasons. They just were struggling. I'm like, you're doing almost everything wrong in your business. You're working 80 hours a week, but everything you're focusing on is not what you should be focusing on to produce a successful business. And I just saw it over and over again. Then I would meet people that were worth $100 million that worked 1,000 hours a week and had zero freedom. I'm like, dude, you gotta have some freedom too. Be with your kids, do what you want. So it's a mix of that. You know what I mean? But it
Well,
just,
I learned that in the car business, man. We used to make good money, dude, but you didn't have any time to spend it. Bell to bell, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not a good life, man.
Well, I think the best life is having financial freedom and enough money where you don't have to work, but you want to. I could not work tomorrow and not work for a while, but instead I work 6 or 7 days a week because I love it. So it's funny. I don't need to work, but I love working. I think it's the same with you, where you could take a week off, a month off, but you
I can
love
take life off.
Same with me, but you love what you do.
No, I'm just not there yet.
You want to keep going. That's ambition.
Yeah, like, no, if you just said, Brad, dude, I'm a trillionaire. Here, I'll give you $1 billion. You changed my life with your posts, and you gave me $1 billion.
Still work.
I'd be done tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the billion's the number.
Dude, I'm 20 years older than you, almost.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but you could.
20 years, come talk to me, son.
Yeah, but you
20
couldn't.
years,
You couldn't
dog,
chill on
you're
a
gonna
beach.
be like, I'm done. I just want to.
That's true.
Dude, I'd still invest. You know, I'd still do.
You put out content.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd
No,
still
no, no, but
invest.
that's not
So if
being
that's
done, though.
called work, I'll work. But I mean, I'm not gonna like work.
Yeah, bunch
Fuck
of employees.
that.
Yeah,
I got
but you would
three-
still do content. You would still put
Oh,
stuff
absolutely.
out. That's what I mean.
And I'll still invest, and I'll still advise, and I'll still
Yeah.
consult, and I'll still, you know.
So you ain't quitting.
No, I mean, you can't just do nothing.
For sure.
But I guarantee you, I can start having a lot more freedom than I do right now.
Yeah.
People ask me what keeps me going, and I say I'm not there yet. They're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Dude, let's pretend you wake up in the morning, you got to go take a piss, right? So you get out of bed, and what do? You go to the bathroom, and I say, well, why don't you just stop in the kitchen and piss there? They're like, what do you mean? Well, it's the same thing. Like I'm heading somewhere, man. Like, why would I just stop because I can? Like, you got to get to where
Yeah,
you're going. Otherwise, you're going to be pissing in your sink.
Yeah.
Like, get there, bro. And that's what keeps me going. I'm not there. When someone says, well, what is there? For me, $1 billion evaluation. I don't need $1 billion. You don't even need 100 million. But I want $1 billion valuation because to me, dude, when I was growing up, a millionaire was everything. It was like,
Same with me.
He's a
Same with me.
millionaire. Now a millionaire is like pretty much damn near everybody.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of people going, you, bro, you're, you're jaded. Well, maybe because there's a lot of people that ain't making $1 million, but I personally believe it's their fault. And there's always going to be someone listening to this right now, leaving a comment on YouTube or wherever they're watching this. And you know what they're going to say? Yeah, you're not factoring in this reason.
Yeah.
Like everybody
But
wants
you'll
to
never
point
meet a
out,
successful hater.
but that's
the
my
thing.
point, dude. That's an excuse, bro.
For sure, I
When
know.
people realize everything that is happening to them and their life is a culmination of all the choices they've made, period. So you go, okay, let's pretend that's true for a minute. Well, then are you telling me that all the choices that they've made, who made them for them? Who makes your choices, bro? Huh? Who makes your choices?
Yeah, me.
Okay, so if what we just agreed to, if everything that's happening to you right now is a culmination of all the choices you made, well, then who's responsible? Biden? Who's responsible? COVID? You've made all your choices. If you would have made different choices this whole time, if you would have made different moves, dude, you wouldn't be in this situation. So yes, everything that people are going through is their fault, and it's their responsibility, and that's who needs to change it. And 9 times out of 10, you know how the best way to change it? Shift your perspective. Yeah. Start being grateful.
But it's easier for them to hate or comment bad things or not take responsibility.
Yeah,
that's why they do it.
So what's your day like? You wake up, what do you do?
It depends. It's so my schedule.
You have an office?
Yeah, my schedule is tricky because now I have 2 under 2. So we have a Sienna who's 5 months now and Santana who's 2. So now my mornings is first thing I do is probably for the first half hour I kind of meditate, write my journal, chill a second, take a deep breath, think about my day. But then not meditate like standing still doing nothing, but I kind of try to get some silence and gather myself because I'm intense. And then I watch Santana for probably a half hour till my wife gets up, play with him. And then depends on what I'm doing. It's like the book launch. So it just changes based on what we're doing. When I'm speaking, it's different. Our book launch
You do
the
a
last
lot of
3
speeches?
weeks. I haven't in the last 6-7 months, but I used to.
How much you get paid?
20 to 30K.
You know why you don't get 50?
Why?
because you haven't asked for it.
True. You're right.
One time someone came to me and asked,
My first 50K, I'm sending you 5.
somebody said to me one day, can you help me double my business? And I said, probably. And he said, well, how? And I said, well, what do you do? He tells me what he does. I said, what do you charge? He tells me what he charges. And I said, double it. He goes, what? I'm like, just double your fee. He goes, I can't double my fee.
That's the first response. I can't.
Dude, he doubled his fee and tripled his business.
It's amazing.
It's all perspective. Like he wasn't valuing his services. So what did I do? I made him value his own services. Yeah. He started coming up with a higher number, and guess what? People paid it. He wasn't valuing his services. Who sets your prices, motherfucker? People go, well, it's not fair. My competitors are, dude, don't look at your competitors. Sure. The second you look at your competitors, you're not focused on what you should be focusing on.
Yep. Yeah, I raised my prices when my kids were born, because if you're going to take me away from my kids, I want you to pay me more. So the last couple of weeks, my schedule is straight getting on air, podcast, connecting with my network, trying to figure out how to maximize the book launch.
So everybody go get his book. Okay. That's how you can help this cat. Everybody go get his book. Comes out the 19th of October, 7 Rules to 7 Figures. Go check out his website. He looks like a fucking, legit dude on the website. I'm like, fuck, dude, this guy's got more followers than I do. What the fuck? I haven't checked your comments yet. Every time someone shows me, because I get people hit me up with, 1.2 million followers. And I'm like, God damn, who are they? And then I go look at their post, and it's got like 6 comments a post.
I agree.
Like, those are fake followers, dude. There's no way you have 1.2 million people engaged.
There's people with 2 or 3 million that have that.
Yeah, well, dude, that's the thing. It's like, and then they're asking me, dude, you want me to blow up your brand? You want another 100,000 real followers?
You get 1,000
like yours?
like that?
No thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, and that's another thing with Instagram and the bots. Do you get the bots?
With what? Give me an example.
I'll make a post. I'll see within an hour like 200 comments. God damn. I hit a winner, so I go look at the comments, and it's
there's bots.
Thank
for sure.
God for such and such in crypto and Forex.
That's
and I'm literally deleting. I go look after I'm done deleting and clean them up. Oh, you got 30 comments. Yeah. I had like 100.
Well, it's different because comments are different on certain. We've realized that if I do a post, it's 200, 300, 400 comments. Reels, 20, 30 comments, but there's 30,000 views. So it just depends on what platform. No one really comments on Reels. Reels they don't comment as much.
Yeah, but
30, 40.
But Reels get you exposed more.
For sure.
They?
Our Reels kill it.
So if someone's out there listening, they want to build a personal brand like you have, what would you tell them?
Figure out who you are. Be polarizing. Say what you actually want to say and stop fearing people. Everyone fears people. I don't want to say this because my mom might think this, my brother might think this, my follower. If you just say what you actually feel and you be polarizing, I think the biggest thing you can do is be polarizing and share some things that are controversial, things that really, really resonate with you, because half the world will hate you.
Have you ever defined polarizing?
Defined? Not really.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Siri, define polarizing.
I love this.
Restrict the vibrations of a transverse wave, especially light, wholly or partially to one direction. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes.
Cause something to acquire polarity. Do you want to hear the last one?
Yes.
Divide or cause to divide into 2 sharply contrasting groups or sets of opinions or beliefs.
Done.
That's the one you're talking about.
So think about it, Brad. Think about this.
Well, here's what I say, because I don't tell people to be polarizing, because to me the polarizing is like, in other words, like you're grandstanding to do it on purpose.
No.
I think what you're saying to me, we agree, which is say what the you feel and don't worry about whether you're polarizing or not. Just worry that you believe it.
For sure.
And then you will be polarizing, because there are going to be some motherfuckers don't like what you just said.
People are just too much people pleaser. They're trying to please everybody. If you try to please everybody, you're not going to please yourself.
You think Grant Cardone's polarizing?
Think so.
You think Tony Robbins is polarizing?
Think so.
Is Gary Vee polarizing? Who's not that you know of that's big?
I can't say. I don't want to say
in your
names.
mind, polarizing.
There's quite a bit of people that aren't, though.
That are big?
Not big.
That's my point.
Oh,
like anybody big
but
is considered polarizing, because of there's going to be some motherfuckers that like it and some that don't. And that's why people get scared and they never get big, because they're worried about the ones that don't.
Yep.
So they never get the attention of the ones that would have. See what I'm saying?
100%.
One time on a podcast, I said it all smooth. I said, if you're too afraid of the hate, you'll never find the love. And everybody went, oh.
It's true.
That's wonderful.
But think about it. It makes your fans and your tribe love you even more.
Well, it resonates with the right people.
And it pushes away the other ones. Why would you not want that hate?
Well, again, dude, I'm telling you, it sounds easy to us, but there's people that don't get that. Like, they're more worried about what are people going to think. Well, dude, that's the whole point.
But they're on themselves. That's the problem.
Yeah, so they don't say anything. Or do you know what they do? They think, what should I say to where nobody will be pissed?
Yeah.
Well, then now you're vanilla and you're white noise and like you're saying the same everybody else says. Nobody's noticing you.
I agree.
You got to figure out who you are, put your out there, and own it.
But I think people are too. Tell me, I think people are like, I feel weird being on camera. I feel bad. I don't want to say this. And they're like, I. It's not about you. It's about the people you're impacting. It's about your message, your mission. So when I do certain things, I don't really even think about me or what people are going to think. I just say what I know needs to be said that I feel, and whoever likes it or not, that's irrelevant to me. You know what I mean? At least I can fully look myself in the mirror and feel like I'm being actually myself and being authentic. Because there's things that piss me off that I talk about that rub people the wrong way. About school, about colleges, about certain people. You know what I mean? So
about
it's just
masks.
Yeah, I can't stand them. But here's my thought.
About shots.
I'm in Texas 4 days,
Better not, we'll get suppressed.
True, don't do that. I'm in Texas 4 days. I'm speaking to Texas Tech, the athletes. Spreading my book.
You are?
Yeah.
That's again, like that's a good place to be wanted to talk.
Yeah, for real. Amazing people. Great athletes. They went to the Final Four 2 years ago.
But how would they reach out to you? Like, you're not an athlete.
Coaches follow my stuff and check me out.
They just like your vibe and your beliefs?
Well, what it is college athletes can now market themselves and make money through NIL. So they need money help because 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years and 80% of NFL players go broke. So they needed some mindset stuff, some money management. But what I was saying, I can't remember what I was going to say. What were we just talking about? Oh, masks. So I'm in Texas 4 days. I see 0 masks, which is funny. I see 0 masks in 4 days in Texas. But my thought process, we don't need to talk about masks, is people always other people not wearing masks. If yours works, why you them? What does it matter? So there's a lot of weird things that make 0 sense in this society.
Well, imagine
It's just like
they're forcing you to wear a diaper because you have a 2% chance you'll your pants.
No, less than 1%, not 2%.
What about they make you wear a diaper so your neighbor doesn't his pants?
Exactly.
Stupid.
I agree. Hey, but I will tell you that.
But that tells you how many sheep are out there, dude. There's so many people that just blindly believe that they're not questioning anything. They're like, "Oh, this makes perfect sense."
It's unbelievable. I don't even know.
Sometimes I question myself, like, dude, am I the fucking idiot? Because I didn't graduate high school. Like, maybe I'm just the idiot here.
Then you're like, no, I'm not. When you think about the stats,
but
and the
I
facts.
can't be. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the jab, like you want people to get a shot, so the people that got a shot won't get affected. Why would the people with the shot get affected if the shot worked? So why would they be affected from someone not getting the shot? That makes 0 sense.
It makes sense if it's about control, power, and money, though. It makes sense.
Of course it does. It makes sense when you look at it from some crazy conspiracy angle, and then you get adopted as a conspiracy nut, or they shut you off social media, and now no one can hear you because you're making sense.
But all the conspiracies are coming true from the last 3 or 4 years. That's the funny thing.
A lot of them have.
So it's like, I agree, man. I stay away. But we went for 3 months, Brad. We went kind of on a tangent. I wanted to spread the truth and shared certain things on Facebook. We probably had, every post was like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 shares, reaching millions of people. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, our posts for 6 months straight were deleted.
Yep.
6 months straight, just poof. All the stuff I talked about that was truth, just deleted.
Mine too, but it wasn't deleted. It was just extremely suppressed.
Ours was deleted.
Like, I was getting like 1,000 new followers a day. People were like, dude, whoever this guy is, I love this guy.
Yeah.
And nothing changed. And all of a sudden, dude, I'm like, I wasn't getting 1,000 a month.
How can they do that? Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Well, what's crazy? It is crazy. Like, I want to be in these meetings with these fucking extremely powerful people. Like, what's the inside plan, motherfuckers?
I don't think they accounted I don't think they accounted for the internet and for people speaking up back in the day.
Yeah. Well,
now it's like they're getting scared.
The internet, dude. The internet's given everybody an opportunity. The internet is your opportunity. The book, go get the book, and then I'll bet you anything you'll be using the internet to make 7 figures.
I appreciate you.
You use internet to make 7 figures.
From my phone.
I'm using the internet to get this message out. iTunes.
Making $1 million from your phone is the ultimate hack, man.
Dude, you teach people how to make $1 million from their phone, dude. They're going to be your freaking fan for life. Guys, go check this dude out, Peter Voogd, Peter J. Voogd with a D at the end.com or at Peter J. Voogd on social media. Appreciate you coming in, dude.
You too, man.
Hey, and listen, don't make excuses, folks. Like, go look in the mirror, get his book, do some research, learn, emulate what he did. Quit lying to yourself and blaming yourself and undervaluing yourself. And then share this with your friends and relatives because maybe they're depressed fools that need the uplifting message of Bradley and Peter Voogd. Until next time, kids, keep it real.
Hey, guys, if you like that interview with Brad and you want something even crazier and more intense, check out this interview I did in Malibu live with Grant Cardone. You're going to love it. Trust me. You're one of the only people that blatantly, openly say you should get rich.
Why is that?
People cringe. They say, wow, what do you mean rich?
Totally. So